Hello, everyone. I'm Corwin Marshall Parker for Historical Professions. For this last discussion board of the semester, we're tasked with reflecting on George Marsden's The Outrageous Idea of Christian Scholarship. Marsden concluded that contemporary Christian scholarship will not realize its potential unless it can establish a strong institutional base. During the 20th century, the institutional infrastructures that might have supported high-level inquiry concerning faith and learning have steadily declined. C.S. Lewis, renowned scholar, author of the globally popular The Chronicles of Narnia, close friend of J.R.R. Tolkien, and devout Christian, lamented this decline. Mark Pike did in-depth research on Lewis's perspectives, and the outcome of his research determined that Lewis's philosophy on the role of Christianity in education demonstrated how a Christian worldview was more necessary than ever in 21st century schools and scholarship, particularly by reaching students in their young formidable years. Pike recounted that in his inaugural lecture at Cambridge, C.S. Lewis identified three phases in the history of the West: the pre-Christian, the Christian, and the post-Christian. Lewis argued that the significance of the last of these changes surpasses that which Europe underwent at its conversion and influenced its political, social, religious, and educational life. Pike notes that Peter Kreeft pointed out that de-Christianization is happening faster than Christianization did. In the post-Christian phase of our culture, it has been asserted that education has in general ceased to have an aim of pursuing and understanding objective value. Lewis observed that the application of Christian principles, say, to education must come from Christian schoolmasters. Pike asserts that many Western societies might in fact now be considered even more post-Christian than they were in 1954 at the time of Lewis's inaugural lecture. Yet, when considered from a Christian perspective, we live in the new creation, or at a time in which the world has been redeemed by Christ. Lewis described what Christ accomplished at his resurrection in unambiguous terms. He has met, fought, and beaten the king of death. Everything is different because he has done so. This is the beginning of the new creation. A new chapter in cosmic history is opened. As everything is now different, we need to ask what might mean for schooling, or what that might mean for schooling that is taking place in this new chapter in cosmic history. Lewis showed us that when we view moral law as a mere subjective product rather than an objective reality, we cannot even talk meaningfully about self-control or any of the other virtues that make us fully human. According to Pike, it is simply untenable to argue that secular schools are ideologically neutral, while those with a Christian foundation are biased. All schools are founded upon particular beliefs and values. Pike continues, clearly Jesus Christ is the model for human virtues in which the Christian faith community, human virtues within the Christian faith community, but these virtues are widely endorsed in education and schooling. Many people want their children to serve others and to be humble, gentle and kind, determined, courageous and true. Good schools with a Christian ethos promote the values and virtues common to good character education. Pike, once again, states that Christian nurture in homes as well as schools is entirely justified in that parenting necessarily involves teaching children how to live and what to believe. Christian schools may provide a more comprehensive moral culture that is congruent with the values of Christian parents as they ground their moral and character education in particular narratives and Christian teachings, but their legitimacy will increasingly need to be defended in a post-Christian culture. How educators offer opportunities for restoration and forgiveness when students fall short may provide the most important of lessons. Pike finds that such schools are often particularly effective with more socially disadvantaged pupils and, as such, appear to offer much to the common good of society rather than just to the Christian community. The Judeo-Christian belief that every child is made in God's image and has dignity and significant unrealized potential, regardless of the educational attainment of his or her parents or community, can exert a powerful influence for good. Such faith can override low expectations based on socioeconomic status and previous underperformance. Pike identifies that C.S. Lewis believed in reading Scripture daily, in study, in prayer, in attending church, and in applying his mind and Christian worldview to contemporary issues in society, a key area for those engaged in Christian education. Lewis suggested that if a person makes some serious attempt to practice the Christian virtues over a 6-week period, then he or she will have discovered some truths about themselves. For Lewis, the main thing we learn from a serious attempt to practice the Christian virtues is that we fail and are therefore in need of redemption. From C.S. Lewis, I quote, "The point is not that God will refuse you admission to his eternal world if you have not got certain qualities of character. The point is that if people have not got at least the beginnings of those qualities inside them, then no possible external conditions could make a heaven for them. That is, could make them happy with a deep, strong, unshakable kind of happiness God intends for us." Pike in his work states that there are three theological virtues, faith, hope, and love, that have special significance in Christian education. Of course, many non-Christians also seek, in some sense, to practice the theological virtues of faith, hope, and love. Love or charity, for C.S. Lewis, was not a feeling but an act of the will. Arguably for Pike, Christian education, like character education, may be good for everyone, just as faith, hope, and love are, when pastoral care is a priority and children are treated with dignity. So we come full circle with Marsden. As we looked at Pike's analysis of C.S. Lewis, C.S. Lewis's philosophy is effectively timeless. So once again, Marsden has demonstrated in the 21st century that Christian scholarship is not becoming outmoded. It's not less relevant. It's more relevant than ever and more important to mainstream education. Thank you for a great semester. Everyone take care. God bless.